What's good? Welcome back to another edition of Dat Talk Podcast, where we give our opinions on sports by going over the facts with the stats. I go by the name of Bacon. I got my co-host with me.
It's your boy D-Red, man, a.k.a. Mr. Too Many Reasons himself. How y'all doing out here? Yes. Another week of the quarantine.
Of the quarantine. And it's looking like we're going to be in this quarantine even longer. Even.
Yeah, man. I seen that LA may not be out till like August, but I like around the world, man, it's different. I read something yesterday that Georgia about to open up their bars and clubs.
Yeah, they tripping.
I don't know if it's like state mandated, and
it is.
I don't know, man. It's a lot. It's like don't nobody want to listen to Trump. Like some people do, some people don't.
It's state to state. Like Arizona is open.
Oh.
Or everything.
Oh.
They can play games there if they want to. They got crowd. It's crazy. I don't know how, but they're doing it. So, hey, more power to them, man. But, man, we got a great discussion for y'all today. But before we get into that, we got to talk about some of these comments from last weekend. I'm about to come at Colin head right now because Colin thought you out so crazy. He stalled you out so crazy that I'm like, oh, so this, I see what we doing here. I see how we playing it, Colin. You ain't going to give him the real deal, but you going to give me the real deal. Okay, but let's go into some of the comments because we was talking about who is the next superstar. And when you made that just crazy, out of this world comment that Jalen Green would beat Jason Tatum in a one-on-one, I don't care. I don't even know where you came up with that. But this is what your boy Colin said. He said, "Oh, Jalen Green versus Jason Tatum. Right now, I'm taking Tatum." Let's go into it some more. We know what Tatum is doing against grown-ass men in the league and getting buckets. We don't know what Green is about yet in the league. I think he's going to take his lumps early, but he will emerge to be one of the greats when his career is all said and done. As of right now, I'm going Tatum. Wow.
Yeah.
Look, you want to know what's funny? If I would have said that, he would have been like, "Oh my God, what are you drinking? Are you sober, tober?" But you get a whole discussion. Okay, Colin, I see how you doing it. I see how he doing it.
No, man, I think what he understood what I said though. See, I feel like you missed what I said. I said that they'll be playing. Point is 11, it's 10-10. I'm going to just give the edge to Jalen because I picked him to be the next star. So with that being the caveat, you feel me? It's one of those like, if Jalen got the ball last, I feel like he wins. And my man Colin's probably looking at it like, nah, man, I feel like Tatum going ahead and take it. He just respect what Jalen Green has done. And he kind of see my to the future type thing. Like I said, I'm a Tatum fan. I'm a big Tatum fan.
I would have said it, he would have been on my top so crazy, been going crazy on your boy, talking all this stuff, wonder if I'm drinking, thinking all that kind of good stuff. But it's okay. I see how y'all playing it. It's cool. It's 2 against 1 at all. It's all good. But going to the next comment, we got my man Armani. He said, "This podcast is dope. I popped in because the DJ is the homie, but stayed because it's good content. Keep going, fam."
Appreciate that, man. Shout out to my guy Armani, man. Former roommate out here at Fresno State.
Okay.
He's doing big things out there in SAC, man. He has a whole foundation going on. He's a young black man, that is getting it. So big shout out to my guy Armani and the positive things he's doing in the Sacramento area with the youngsters and his movement. So big ups to my guy.
Facts, man. Shout out to that, man. All love, man. Appreciate the comments. Hey, make sure again, man, if y'all want to have your comments talked about, you got to leave them after every episode. We read the comments. We even, reply to the comments as well and things like that. But we got a great discussion today, Mr. Too Many Reasons, man. Everybody's been going crazy over ESPN top 100 NBA players list. We ain't going to go over all 100, but what we are going to talk about is the top 10 because everybody has been so pissed off about this top 10. How you feel just in general about the top 10?
You see my face? If my face don't answer that question, like, here's what I'm going to say. I don't disagree with the 10 people that are there. I kind of disagree with the order that they're in.
Wow.
So I respect ESPN's top 10 list. I mean, they had some disrespectful moments in 11 through 74, though. Oh, the disrespect in 11 through 74 is crazy. But I'm going to concede that the top 10 is the top 10. I just gotta reconfigure the order. And then to me, I mean, it's a little bit more suitable. That's all. I agree with the top 10, though. I agree.
And my opinion, when you think of the top 10, man, it's so hard to formulate these lists on the top this, top that.
Facts.
Every era is different, in my opinion. I feel like every era is different. It evolves. It changes. Like in the day, man, it was the era of the bigs. It was just all big men, right? And then it started to graduate to more fundamentals. You have big mans and shooters or guards or whatever. It's people that facilitate the offense. Then you had a couple jump shots, but it still was big man dominated, right? And then you had like as it started to transition to the Mike Jordan era, right? The two guard era, where a lot more two guards start coming in the league, right? And being the more focal point of the offense. And then what we got in transition into the Kobe's, the Lamar Odoms,
the power. It became like that.
Era, right?
The power forward era was like the 2000 era,
right?
Where the Duncans, Garnett, Rasheed Wallace, Jermaine O'Neal, like that 2000 era, or I want to say like 96 through that 2000 era became big power forward heavy. So you kind of went big man guards, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
In the 80s, it was kind of like all around. You feel me? You had some bigs, you had some guards. Like I feel like in the 80s, I feel like all 5 positions was highlighted. If you just kind of look at the numbers and you talk to, we talk to our superiors, our older cats.
Yeah.
80s, all 5. The 90s kind of shifted more towards just the centers, and then some of the heavy two guards. And then we got into the power forwards. Now we more into the point guard era. You feel me?
In score era, you got
just buckets. To me, this is the bucket era.
Bucket era. You got David.
Bucket era.
You got James Harden.
Buckets.
So
Steph.
Clay. People still don't like my decision when I said Clay would make it tough for Mike Jordan. I'm still gonna stand by that, man. I don't care what nobody say. But
standing by yourself.
Yeah, it don't matter. Stand on your own. You know what I'm saying? Stand on your own. 10 toes down. 10 toes down, brother. So according to the list, if we go by your list, because you said you agree with the top 10, you just don't agree with the order. So if you had to go based off your list, right?
Yep.
As the number one, do you agree with the number one, or your number one is different?
No, I agree with 1. I'm gonna keep Mike at 1.
Why would you keep Mike at 1?
Because it's Mike. I feel like, really based off really getting a chance to watch this Last Dance, has really highlighted a lot of different things. His drive, his will, his competitive spirit, what he did on the court, what he did off the court. I just think that he just is capitalized greatness. I feel like, he just did things. He just wanted to win. And when you look at a team like the Chicago Bulls, who in '94, I believe, made it to the playoffs and was a good team because, they didn't have Jordan, so they had to play more team ball. And then in '95, they struggled. And then Jordan comes back and they don't win, right? And then basically in '96, they add Rodman, but relatively the whole team is the same. And they go win 3 straight championships because they added one man.
But
you
that
feel me? Like
was a pivotal piece.
Yeah, that's what that's what I'm saying. Like when you think about it, you think about a lot of all-time greats and all-time greats. I don't know if a lot of all-time greats can step away and come back and then go win. You feel me? Magic stepped away at year 10 of his career and came back and it was not the same Magic Johnson. Isaiah Thomas had that injury, and he never came back as the same Isaiah Thomas. So it's rare that you see, I mean, even though Mike just kind of retired, he didn't have an injury or nothing like that.
Right.
But for him to retire and come back and to basically pick up where he left off, it's just hard for me to really see other greats do something like that. So that's why I would keep Mike Evans.
Number one for me, man. This was a tough one. Because I understand why people love Mike. And I appreciate the man's game. The Last Dance really just shows you more about Michael, but it doesn't highlight about that team. And people don't ever give Chicago's Bulls organization and the way they drafted and the way they orchestrated those teams that Mike had, because he was strategic. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Mike didn't play if he didn't have Scottie, if he didn't have Phil. And because he knew those were two pivotal pieces on that team that he needed to have. And when Phil Jackson was leaving, he left. He was like, nah, I'm not going to be here. And that I don't know. For me, if you that guy, you can win with anybody. But if you really think about it and you put two and two together, Mike, he played with, like in the beginning of his career, he played with a lot of people that was, all right, whatever, and he took his bumps and bruises early in the season, got bumped in the playoff, them there all the time. He didn't make it to the finals. Then he started craft. I know people don't like the dude, but he orchestrated a good Chicago Bull team by drafting, getting Scottie, getting Kukoc, getting pivotal pieces to the team, right? I don't know. It was a slight edge. I gave it to Mike only because it was hard. Because I really feel like, in my opinion, I feel like, I don't know, I give it to him based off just the impact that he did for like the shoes and just his ability to go out and play. But if you really think about it, in my opinion, I feel like Mike only had one job, was to really score. That was his number one job, to give the score. Yes, that's just, I'm gonna call it a spade. But when I look at the number two people, that goes to my number two person, and I agree with ESPN and putting LeBron at number two. LeBron is responsible for so much more than Michael Jordan. He is the facilitator. He's the orchestrator. If LeBron's not on the court and it showed in all stats, his team is damn near deficient in all categories. When he's on the court, they're plus by damn near about 20 or 15, 12 points or whatever the case may be. But in all the categories, they're boosted. And I feel like Mike, all he had to do was score. Yeah, he got all these defensive accolades and things like that, but his main priority was to score. That's all they needed. Because when he left, bruh, they still went to playoff. They went to the second round. And the only reason they lost, or whatever the case being, because Scottie quit it. Scottie quit on his team, and they never recovered from that. And then the following year, they lost Horace Grant. So they had no post present. They had nobody to play defense on nobody. That's what, if you really want to call a spade. And then they got Dennis Rodman. And Dennis Rodman gave them that post presence and rebound presence again. So that's why they became good again, man. But that team was still a good team. Team was still a good team. But I still got Mike as one. And I believe LeBron James, what he done off the court, what he represents, what he does, he's a force of nature. He's the number two best player to ever play this game. Sometimes I even go back and forth and putting him as number one just because of what he does. You take Mike off that team, they still went to the playoffs. You take LeBron off a team, they ain't even playoff bound. They barely gonna win 30 games. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. Before LeBron went to Cleveland when Kyrie was there, they didn't win no games. They was damn near, 30? They didn't go to playoffs? Then LeBron comes, automatic championship contenders. That's what you call greatness. That's what you call the ability to impact the game, rebound and score, passing, and efficiency, bro. Those are things you can measure. So LeBron was my number 2. I agree with ESPN with the number 2. I could have put LeBron at the number 1. All that ring stuff, that's team orientated. So I'm not really going based off the rings because rings are based off the team. The team helps you win rings. So I would say if Mike didn't have those teams, he would have never won those rings. I don't give a damn how good you were because Mike was still scoring before he orchestrated those teams. That's what I feel. That's how I feel.
Hold up. So I need to just want to make sure your energy is pure. Your energy is pure right now. Rings, teams, if he don't go, he don't win. That's pure, right?
Pure.
Okay. I feel like I got to wait to kind of dive into LeBron James. I feel like you kind of put your own foot in your mouth when you said rings and teams, because if I'm not mistaken, LeBron didn't get a ring until he joined a great team. No. I'm talking. He joined. That was a rhetorical question. That really wasn't for you to ask, because he didn't win a ring until he joined a good team. So if I'm looking at it, Mike didn't get his until the team was orchestrated around him to make it a good team. LeBron didn't get his until he joined somewhat of a better team where he had X amount of help. Because for him to be so great, he still wasn't winning at a high clip, or championships at least. He was winning, but he wasn't winning no ships. Wasn't winning no ships. When he got with D-Wade and Bosh under Pat Riley's guidance, as we talking coaches, under Pat Riley's guidance, who had Eric Spoelstra, is when LeBron started racking in championships. And just because LeBron averages one more assist than Jordan and one more rebound than Jordan, he's all of a sudden he did more. Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year and led the league in scoring at the same time.
Which is voted. It's voted. It's not based off. It's voted on popularity vote.
So, but yeah,
vote on that.
I mean, but to vote on that means you still have to have you lead the league in scoring and win Defensive Player of the Year. All right. Anyway, my number two was not LeBron. And it wasn't LeBron because the man don't have the skills, the accolades, and all that kind of stuff. LeBron has accomplished a lot. But I also feel like LeBron's career is yet to be finished. And right now, he does not have all the things to put him to number 2. So great. My number 2 is the guy you see behind me, Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant. God rest his soul. That's my number 2. And he's my number 2 because he possesses the rings. He's top 5 in scoring. He's topping one of the one people that has the rings. He was just an all-time great. You feel me? And his career is finished. And so when you just look at his game, the things that he accomplished in his career is just a lot. And I'm not knocking LeBron. I've come to appreciate LeBron's game, but I just look at like he has more to write to his story. And I feel like when we had this discussion after his story is done, my list may change. I may have LeBron 2, or I may have him 3. But you feel me? That's just kind of where I am with it. I just feel like people just devalue Kobe and just want to surpass him so much because they want to feel like he's a ball hog. He did this and he did that. But I just feel like, and the biggest thing is he only has one MVP. He only has that one MVP and this. But when you look at it, man, the years he could have won MVP, he was totally hosed. And I mean, again, you wouldn't go back into voting. You feel me? LeBron has 4, and that goes back into what you said about voting. oh, they just voted. Not necessarily, man, he was super dominant. They just voted. And I'm just saying, and during LeBron's 3-year run of MVPs, Kobe was making it to the finals and won 2 championships during his 3-year run of MVPs. So you ask LeBron, would he rather have MVPs or rings?
He had a better team.
Hold up.
I don't understand why.
A better team?
Generation teams, bruh. It's not one player would never win a championship. Mike didn't win nothing when he didn't have a better team, bruh. His team got beat by the better team, bruh. He was the best player on the floor damn near all the time, but he lost to the better team. It's a team sport. One man will never beat 5. I don't care what nobody say. You can say Kobe this, Kobe that, but he had a solid team. He had good players that meshed well, and the system meshed well together, and it worked.
So you telling me the Cavaliers, who was the number 1 seed in 2009, number 1 seed. So according to the numbers, they were the number 1 team in the East, and they got 4-1 by the Orlando Magic that year. 4-1.
Matchups, bro. Just because you the
that was matchups. That was matchups. But LeBron's an all-time great. You can't overcome all-time great.
Orlando Magic. Just because you're number 3, don't mean that your team is not as good as your record shows. Because that team beat the Boston Celtics with Kevin Garnett, with Paul.
KG was hurt, so they did beat him with.
Excuse. Now it's just an excuse that's why they won, because the KG was hurt. But then you can't go by that. Things happen. LeBron probably could have more rings if Kyrie was healthy, if Kevin Love was healthy. I
agree.
So what are you talking about? You can't.
I agree.
You can't use that. You can't use that. And then the team he went up against with the Golden State Warriors, a team of, I don't even know what you want to call them. I wouldn't disrespect them because they're in the NBA, but he took that team. He beat Kyrie's team because Kyrie got hurt, but he beat the number 1 Boston team and beat them in Boston, Game 7, and lost to a better Warriors team. So I don't care. He was the best player on the court. He averaged a triple-double in the finals, and he still lost. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Teams win chips. Players never won a chip. I don't care what you want to call it. Because if you want to get on LeBron by quote-unquote going to the Miami Heat, that team didn't go to no championship finals. They was getting booted out the playoff. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I said joined up.
Created that. They created that because of Boston did it first. Boston did it first.
True.
And they created that. They was like, so if they're not bringing you, this is the difference between the Jordan. Their ownership drafted those players. They went out and brought superstars to Michael Jordan to make that team great. That's why they don't never give credit to the ownership. But the Cleveland Cavalier ownership, who did they bring? Ben Wallace. What is Ben Wallace going to do? He can't spread the floor. He can play defense, but he can't get a bucket. If he's in the paint and my strength is driving, what are you going to do? You're going to take away from my strength. Now I got to shoot the ball, and I become one-dimensional because you're in the paint. They're not.
You become one-dimensional. So your driving game is not as good as your shooting game. So you become one-dimensional.
They take away the game.
But I feel like when you're all-time great, why should you have an offensive weakness?
What do you mean? That's not an offensive weakness. It's your strength, man. If not every all-time great can shoot the ball well and drive well. Everybody have a strength and everybody have the weakness. Kobe can probably drive the basketball.
I don't see Kobe and Jordan having an offensive weakness. You show me an offensive weakness.
That's fine. That's fine.
You show me an offensive weakness between them. They can shoot, they can dribble, they can create, they can post, and they can shoot free throws at a high clip, both over 80%. Mr. LeBron is not an 80% free throw shooter, but his numbers say statistically he's a better three-point shooter than Jordan, and he's a three-point shooter than Kobe. Statistically.
So if you take less and you make more, then I'm going to have a better percentage than you at the end of the day. Because if I take less, if you're looking at statistics, if I take less and I miss more, then my percentage is going to be horrible. That means I'm taking less and I'm making more than you are. And I have a better percentage than you. You're taking a lot of shots. Of course, your percentage is going to eventually increase because you're taking a mass volume of shots.
Hey, like I said, I also heard this past week about systems, and I feel like LeBron James.
He's the system.
He's not a system. His system is pick and roll basketball with floor spacing. I feel like who knows what LeBron James' number would be in a system like a Phil Jackson, like a triangle, where the ball is predicated on moving. Just like they say, just like they say Jordan and Kobe are ball dominant. No, they were scoring dominant, but they weren't ball dominant because they played in the offense where they didn't bring the ball up the floor. They was already set in position in the offense swings and moves, because that's what the triangle does. The triangle creates different kinds of cuts and moves and methods, which is allow for your greater players to score at a higher clip. So in my estimation, if you give LeBron and Phil Jackson, his scoring numbers to me increase. It's just being 100. But I feel like his rebounding and his assists come down because he's not required to have the ball in his hands. It's unfortunate he's never got an all-time great coach that put him in a system to where maybe we can see a different kind of LeBron, and maybe we could have seen him work on different things. But because he's always been in a more of a pick and roll style system, he's gonna have he's always had to be the number one guy, because he's gonna rebound for the team, push the ball up, and then he's gonna be the distributor or the scorer. And that's not knocking him. That's just saying with the cards he was dealt. And I feel like Kobe and Jordan are knocked because they played where they had a good coach, and they was in a system that did not require them to be everything outside of scoring. How can you be mad at somebody that didn't get that's not required to do everything?
Hold up. Did you watch The Last Dance? Did you watch the episode when Mike left and Scottie Pippen became the focal point of the offense?
Scottie's a point forward. That was what he does.
Hold on. Did you watch it? Did you hear what they said? The offense moved smoothly. People was getting more touches. People was touching the ball. It was a team-orientated basketball. So you telling me one of the guys that's one of the top 5 assist players in the NBA, and that's what his strong suit is vision and floor general. He won't be able to thrive in a triangle offense that's based on ball movement?
I didn't say that.
What you just said. That is atrocity. How can he even say something like that? How can you say that just because if you got a man that's his number one strength, that's one of his best assets into his game, it's the ability to see the floor. And you telling me if I'm in a triangle offense where the offense is based on passing and movement, LeBron couldn't drive? You know what? All right.
I didn't say that. All I said was I think his scoring numbers would have been up, and his assist and rebound would have dropped. I didn't say he couldn't thrive. I just said his scoring would have went higher, and assist and rebounds come down because he's not required to do everything.
Who you got at number 3, man? Because we can go on and on. Who's number 3?
Number 3, I got Kareem. I feel like the disrespect Kareem Abdul-Jabbar gets is crazy. He's a man that transcended over decades, and his numbers are ridiculous. I mean, honestly, if you just really want to talk just pure basketball numbers and accomplishments, Kareem could be number 1, because the man has 6 rings like Jordan. The man also has, I think, 3 national championships in college. The man is the leading scorer ever in the NBA. He has just as many all-star appearances, all-star games. His numbers are ridiculous. Right. But I think he's going to get pushed back just because of the era of basketball and how it was played, and and all that kind of stuff. And the mass media to follow Lou Alcindor, who then became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, is different. Like I said, 2 years ago, I had a chance to sit down in Fresno at a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar book recital and just listen to that man talk. and talk about the stories of where he came and grew up from and his motivations is crazy. So I feel like Kareem at 3, to me, makes more sense just based on his longevity of accomplishments, and I feel he doesn't get enough things. So I agree with Kareem being at 3 along with ESPN.
I had Kareem at 3. Even though they gave him a knock that's saying that he didn't win until Magic pretty much got there, and
he got a ship in Milwaukee.
I understand that, but I'm saying he didn't win. That was 1971. He didn't win another chip until 1980. That's 9 years span. Okay, Mike won 3 back to back to back, and then he took a break and won another 3. So if you want to rule your greatness or the best or whatever the case may be, if you're supposed to be that guy, which goes back to my point, based off teams. Teams win championships. Players help teams win championships, and that's just 100. And Magic came, and the Lakers became one of the best teams of the 80s or whatever.
They won 5 of them things.
Won 5 of those things, and they won 5 of those with Magic. You know what I'm saying? And so I like Kareem because of what he represents, what he went through, what the numbers he put up. He's the number 1 scorer in the NBA. I don't care what people call it or what era you played in to put up that many buckets where you shooting a lot of 2s, not a lot of 3s, is a straight up accomplishment. And I give you nothing but the almost props and respect. I don't care. If you can put the bucket in the hole, that's what you're supposed to do. I don't care if you can shoot it, if you're tricked to shooting layups or whatever. If you are able to put the ball in the hole with a high efficiency like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is, then, bruh, I got him as number 3. That's hands down. My number 4. This dude, number 4 for me, I know a lot of people don't like him because he played in an era where it was like 10 teams in the NBA. I do agree with Bill Russell being number 4 because of the era of what he went through and what he had to endure. I don't just look at everything on the court. Like if you're able to play basketball in a time frame where you can get killed for just being black. You can get killed for being in these white arenas where white supremacy is everywhere around you, and to be able to deal with that, and yes, he was on a great team. He was going to Boston Celtics. He was
had everybody. They had every Hall of Famer you could think of.
I understand that, and that's not his fault. That's not his fault. You put Michael Jordan on a Hall of Famer team, they probably won 10 championships too. Or whatever the case may. If you put a dream team together and that was the Hall of Fame team, bro, they'll win 5 or 10 championships or whatever. But what he endured, and all the racial ridicule that he endured, for the numbers that he put up, man, I gotta give it to Bill, man. Bill did a lot for the game. He opened that door for a lot of us. If it wasn't for Bill and what he did for us, and the Jackie Robinsons, we wouldn't have brothers in the NBA. People took stands. And so yes, I get it, best of all time, and I get it's the list, but I'm looking at the whole overall. The man got buckets on the court, but what he did off the court and what he represented for the entire game of basketball, for my culture and our culture, African-American males, to play this sport is beyond what any man can do. We wouldn't have a mic without Bill. And that's just what it is. So I got to put Bill as number 4 because of what he did on the court and off the court. That's me.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with the Bill thing as far as what you said. I'm going to disagree where he's placed at because this is not a lifetime achievement all-time list. This is a basketball list.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bill and Kareem, to me, would be 1 and 2 in lifetime achievements as you think about a basketball player and what they did for the culture. And then I would probably go Bill, Kareem, Jordan, LeBron as my top 4 all time. And then AI round out my top 5 of cultural changes for the league. But my number 4 is Magic. I feel like he saved the NBA. If you really think about it, I don't even it feel like that. I mean, I'm going to take my feelings out of it and just go with the quotes from a lot of people during the 80s and people now that just said Magic and Bird saved the NBA. And because at that time, before Magic got there, the NBA was drug riddled. It was bad. There wasn't a lot of positive things going on. And with Magic's charisma, personality, and that Lakers style of basketball and that rivalry they created with the Celtics really saved the NBA in the 80s, which propelled it to become what it became. So not only was he a good basketball player, arguably the best point guard ever to touch the court, he won, and kind of like what you did with Russell, but he saved the entire NBA. Russell gave us a foundation, but I feel like if just being honest, Russell gave us a foundation, but our culture didn't even uphold that foundation because we still was caught up in those times. You feel me? We didn't take that to the next. We didn't look at Bill Russell and say, all right, man, let's elevate it. You feel me? They did the NBA more of a disservice than they did helping it. So I feel like a guy like Magic, that's why I say he's up there in that cultural thing, but his basketball play with his rings and with how he won, I put him at 4. So if we move to number 5, ESPN put Magic at 5. I moved up a guy that gets very underlooked. I put Tim Duncan at 5. Mr. Fundamental, the greatest power forward to touch the game, even though he played a lot of center. He don't like to say it, but boy, he played a lot of center. But we go put him back as the greatest power forward ever. I just feel like Duncan, man, was a force on both the offense and the defensive end. He really didn't have too many deficiencies on offense outside of not being an excellent free throw shooter, but he was a pretty decent one over his career length. They was consistent. They won consistently. His only knock was he never won back-to-back ships. He was a every other year kind of guy. But
back-to-back.
No, he never won. He never won back-to-back. And his 5 rings, they all came either after somebody won or whatever the case is. He went to back-to-back finals when they played the Heat, but he never won back-to-back. Okay. So, but I just feel like he doesn't get the credit he's supposed to get because they talk about him having Pop. And again, Pop is an all-time great coach. Yeah. But Duncan is an all-time great talent, man. And I just feel like Duncan one of those dudes that we need to really give him his roses while he's alive, because I don't feel like he receives enough credit.
All right, my number 5 was no other than Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
I had Kobe Bryant at number 5. I think he's one of the 5th best players to play the game of basketball. He was the second. If we going based off Mike Jordan, he was the second closest. He was the only thing comparable to Mike because he pretty much stole all the Mike moves and perfected them to his liking or whatever the case may be.
He admitted that.
His ability. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't like Kobe Bryant game. I just felt like I'm gonna be honest. When I watched it, I liked his competitive nature. But if you really want to be 100, when it came to Kobe Bryant, a lot of people didn't like him because they felt like he took a lot of tough shots. He didn't trust in his team or whatever the case may be. He didn't trust in his team as much. And I get it. He probably didn't feel comfortable with the people he had on his team at certain times. But as he got better players, he started to trust in them more. So I understand that. I definitely understand that. But I felt like when I watched some of Kobe games, man, I used to be like, man, Kobe, man, what are you doing, man? You got 3 people on you. I get it. Like, in your eyes, that's a good shot. But in my eyes, that's a horrible shot. And I feel like, in that regard, that was my only knock. Sometimes the shot attempts he took and his competitive nature kind of made him play the game not the best way. Not the best way, in my opinion. But if you look at his accolades, 5-time NBA champion, MVP, I believe. Well, how many? Let me look at it because
he got one MVP, 2 Finals MVPs.
Okay, 2 Finals MVPs. the man defensive. Again, those are not merit. I get it. You get voted on how people feel like you play defense, but they're not. You can't really judge unless you really do by percentage. Like, how well do you stop somebody from scoring? I don't know if they do percentages to really get the efficiency to see, like, okay, this is a great defender. Because if I'm a defender and my player's field goal percentage is like at a 23 or 33% when I'm playing any guy I stick, then that gives you some merit to be like, yo, this dude can play some defense. But if it's all voted and you're not really looking at stats or any kind of analytics, like, how do you really determine who's a defender or not at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, you're right. I mean, when I've always looked at the all NBA list, all defensive list, it's always like, what are they basing it off of? Are they basing it off reputation?
Right.
Are they basing it off, because you got to think about it. Steph led the league in steals twice, I believe. But no one considers Steph a defender.
I'm a defender? But
no.
leading the league in steals?
Yeah, and I mean, even a guy like Allen Iverson led the league in steals, but no one really consider AI like a lockdown defender.
That is my point. So when you get these accolades that are voted by fans or popularity or media, you can't really determine if that's merit or not. You know what I'm saying? Especially defensive awards. Like, yo, how you gonna determine if I'm second team or third team if you're not judging it based on no criteria, no efficiency? When I play a dude, what's their efficiency? If I got a 75% efficiency on you, how you the best defender in the league? That don't make no sense, or whatever the case may be. But besides all that, I got Kobe at number 5. My number 6 is Magic Johnson.
Okay.
Showtime, Lakers, man. And I was born in 87. I'm giving my age. Who cares? But I got to see a little bit of the games, and I used to watch a little bit. My dad used to talk about the Lakers so much, you know what I'm saying, and how Magic was all this. And I didn't really understand the game, but as I watched the game and what Magic was able to do and the way his ability to orchestrate the offense and flow the way he's able to get buckets in all different styles and forms, Magic was that dude. He was one of the ultimate facilitators in the NBA that was damn near what? Magic like 6'7", 6'8"?
He's 6'9", according to – 6'9", point guard.
6'9" point guard that can – what's up? Hey, what's up? Where you at, baby? I got you. You know what I'm saying? And so he made the game easy for a lot of
players. Sound like a dude from the 80s. Where you at, baby? I got you.
Get me over there. I'm in the post, baby. Throw it up. You know what I'm saying? So I got Magic as my number 6. It was a back and forth. Like I said, it was a back and forth. But who you got as your number 6?
I got LeBron as my number 6. I got LeBron there at number 6. But I also put on my notes, he has a great chance of becoming number 2, if not 3 on my list when his career is all said and done. When I look at his career accolades so far, the numbers are great. He's scheduled to finish top 5 in scoring. Damn near he may get the top 5, but I'm gonna just say top 10 in assists. I think he may end up top 10 in all the major statistical categories in rebounds, points, assists, and steals.
That's great.
So that's why I said I feel like he can jump to number 2 when his career is all said and done. But like right now on the surface, some of the things that you look at as negative towards him is his record in the finals. Whether you want to look at it as a team thing or a him thing, but you got to put the record in the finals because all the people ahead of him on my list have winning finals records. But I'm just stating the fact.
And all the people on that list has really great teams at that time.
And I'm not knocking that. And LeBron has won when he's been on a good team. So like I said, he's on a great team now, and hopefully the NBA comes back. So to me, he can go win ring 4 this year. And my thing is he gets to 4 or 5, he can move to number 2 on the list. I can concede and put him past Kobe if he can get to 4 and 5, just because like I said, I can look at everything. But right now, his his story is still being written. So I will want to put him in that top 5. I'll run away till his story is complete, and then I'll go from there. But I respect him, man. But that's fine.
All right. Due to sake of time, who you got as your 7, 8, 9, and 10?
7, 8, 9, 10. I got Bird at 7.
Okay.
Coldest white boy ever to step on the court. White boy was nice.
Okay.
8, I got Shaq. Arguably the most dominant basketball player ever, but Shaq couldn't make free throws, man. Shaq couldn't make a free throw if we wanted him to. And then 9 and 10, I got Bill Russell at 9, and I got Wilt at 10. I feel like Russell did a lot for the game, but the game was whack then. But he did win and got a whole bunch of stuff. And I feel like Wilt, even though he scored all them down points and his numbers are ridiculous, the man could never win a ring. The man just could not win. The man got 1 ring. That's it.
This is a team sport.
Yeah, but individually he was nice. But the man got 1 ring. 1. And he couldn't beat. And so I can't put him against Bill Russell because he couldn't beat Bill.
Because
couldn't beat the man. The Lakers and the Celtic teams were pretty much even, man. You go look at the players on both of them teams: Elgin Baylor's, Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain. The Lakers had guys. You feel me? The Celtics had guys too. Those are like, when you look at, that was a part of the NBA where those were arguably the best teams. And when they were we just talking teams, when it came down to both teams being the best teams, Bill Russell teams always beat Wilt Chamberlain team. Even when Wilt Chamberlain was in Philly before he went to LA. Bill Russell teams always beat Wilt teams, and Wilt had good teams, man. So come on, bro. That's just kind of how I look at it. So who's your
I said Tim Duncan. My 8, Larry Bird. My 9th was Shaq, and my 10th was Wilt Chamberlain.
All right.
That's all I had.
All right. Well, look, man, I feel like I've been on a hot seat for basketball the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
You feel me? And I'm going to put you on a hot seat this week. You feel me? I had a chance to look at the full NBA list, so I'm going to hit you with a quick 3 questions. Okay. Your job is to answer either or.
Okay.
And we're gonna rock it like that.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. First question. Who would you rather have? KG or Karl Malone? Ooh, yeah. Oh, this will make it hot.
I like KG, man. KG was able to do multiple things. He was a more evolved Karl Malone because he can hit that mid-range and he can play defense. And so he was an interior force, and he talked that talk. And that's with the podcast. So I'm going with KG on that one.
Okay. Next one. Allen Iverson or Dwayne Wade?
This one, AI, man.
Okay.
I bought all his jerseys, bought his shoes, the Reeboks. I thought I was young AI on the court because I wasn't tall, and he represented for a lot of us short players. When Philly played against the Lakers and he walked over Ty Lue, I did that same move all day, the whole next day. Even though we lost the series and he lost. I used to like Allen Iverson. I used to like Allen Iverson or whatever. But I'm still going with AI, man. The answer is AI. I love D-Wade, and Flash is crazy. But what AI can do at his height, bruh, if he was D-Wade height, he would have been one of the best players that ever played this game.
All right, and this one's for the culture. Jay-Z or Lil Wayne?
Come on, man. That's tough. Both are influential in this game, but what Hov has done and where he's at, he married the best girl in the world, damn near, the #1 chick in R&B, Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? He worth $1 billion net worth. I'm going with Jay, man. It's a different levels. I love Weezy. I love a lot of his music. I love what he's done. And but I still got to go with Jay, man. His longevity in the game, I'm going with the Carter.
All right, I'm gonna give you a quick bonus because I think it should happen in this versus thing that's been happening right now. In a versus battle with top 20 songs going back and forth, who are you taking between a Snoop Dogg versus Busta battle? Song for song. Snoop versus Busta Rhymes in a song for song battle. You may want to check the catalog. You said Snoop?
No, dog.
All right. Hey, that was for the culture, man. Those last two was for the culture, man.
Snoop, man. Snoop Dogg. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. Bro, come on, man. Come on. Dr. Dre. Bro, you. Hey, that was.
Busta got his stuff.
That was. I never said he didn't. But I'm not into the whole. I like smooth, chill, you know what I'm saying? 2, 3, and to the 4. I want to be able to know what you're talking about, you know what I'm saying? And what Snoop Dogg done and what he's done for the community of Cali and Long Beach and things like that, and the Pop Warner.
That's family, man. You know, you got a chance to meet the man a few years back.
The son's graduation, man.
Yeah, man. You know, we got to hang out at the Penthouse in Vegas.
Dubs up, West Side. But yeah, man. So I'm off the hot seat.
Yeah, man, that was for the culture, man. I just want to hit you some things for the culture, man. Get your take on the culture. Switch it up, baby.
But y'all let me know. What do y'all think in the comments below? I could have put Kobe at number 3. But I didn't want to disrespect those people that played in those eras, in those times. I know people always say it wasn't no basketball. Bruh, I don't care. You only can go by what you got. You can't deny that. It's an era. It's an era for a reason. But y'all let us know. What do y'all agree? Do y'all agree with DJ's list? Too many reasons? Or is this too many reasons to not agree and you can agree with your boy Bagley? That's more logical and more reasonable and more realistic. I can't really add LeBron at number 6, but let us know in the comments below, man. We always gonna read y'all stuff, man. And always remember, man, talk that talk, man. Hey, what you got something to say to folks, or?
I'm going to just bounce with it on out of here, baby. 90s bounce. Baby.
And R.I.P. to the late, great Kobe, man. You know what I'm saying? All love to that dude. One of the best to ever do it. We out of here, man. Collins, I'm coming for you. Okay.